Let me bring in on this broadcast Bhaskar Rao, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, who's also served as the Commissioner of Police in Bengaluru. Nikhil Jain, political consultant and advocate, is also with us. Good evening, namaskara to both of you. Mr. Bhaskar Rao, you saw the messaging today from DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. They say we're brothers, that there's no problem whatsoever, and that there's no question of governance taking a hit.
Only from today onwards, they look like brothers. But what I can tell you is that Karnataka is not having a chief minister, it is having a caretaker chief minister, because the dates are being conjectured, development has taken a casualty, corruption has increased, and there is no governance in the state now. And when the people gave a huge mandate of 136 seats, they never spoke about power sharing. If that all they had to share power, it should have been done so quietly and with dignity. The High Command has abdicated its responsibility by throwing the ball back into the court of DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. Breakfast after breakfast and lunch after lunch is not going to solve their problem, when inherently both of them are looking at grabbing and retaining power. So we have to only see when the High Command is actually going to show its teeth, or what Mr. Kharge mentioned a couple of days ago, that he's going to administer some medicine. So probably somebody is very, very sick and medicine needs to be administered to these people, as per the words of Shri Kharge himself in one of these interviews on your own channel, if you could kindly recall. So there is a need for administration of medicine, and there is a caretaker chief minister. There is no development. There is only corruption.
Nikhil,
and weak High Command.
Okay, Nikhil, you've heard the BJP. They're constantly saying that there's no governance in Karnataka. And now, with all of this talk that, look, the High Command is going to be pushing this for a few months, does that lead to, stagnant state of affairs in Karnataka? It's not really helping. The fact that, all these optics you're seeing between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, we all ultimately know what the ambition is.
No, Akshita, like I've said on a show before, I think the BJP in Karnataka is acting like that nosy neighbor who's most concerned about what is happening in the other person's house. What are they eating for breakfast? What are they eating for lunch? They are the opposition in Karnataka. They should be concerned about whether the government is working or not. Yet, when you give the floor to the BJP spokesperson, all that he's talked about is DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah. First of all, he said that when the Congress party was contesting the elections, they never went with a power sharing formula. No party does, but it was amply clear to the voters that it would be a government led by two individuals. That was there on all the social media posts that they were putting out, on all the hoardings. You saw Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar. So far as governance is concerned, every time I'm faced with this question that what would happen to Karnataka Congress's government, and I try to look up facts, and every time I have new facts. I can tell you 2,500 crores has been put towards 2,500 crores has been allocated towards building 500 new Karnataka public schools. 1.42 crore consumers are benefiting from the free 200 units of electricity in their households. There are waste management projects are being done. The double-decker tunnels and double-decker flyovers have been sanctioned for Bangalore. Multiple new IT cities are being set up. 115 MOUs have been signed.
Bhaskar Rao, you're saying no, but Nikhil is giving you numbers, is giving you details of each decision.
And if you want, I can give you the sources.
Perception. In last 2.5 years, what is it that has happened on the ground? These are only empty promises, and last 2.5 years, DK Shivakumar has been at the neck of Siddaramaiah. When is he going to give? And the High Command themselves at least made a vain attempt to silence them on the social media over there.
No, so you're saying governance has taken a hit, sir. Since Nikhil has given us pointed examples, why don't you give us examples of how governance has been crippled, as you allege?
Governance has been. There is no investment in Bangalore city to fill up the potholes over there. There is no investment throughout Karnataka. Not a single foundation stone has been laid. Not a single program has been inaugurated. What more statistics does he want? And whatever Nikhil Jain is saying is only plans, programs on paper. What is it that how has the common citizen benefited? Look at the plight of farmers. Are they getting their due for their sugarcane prices? What about the maize? That also is in tantrums over there. What did he give any money for the flood affected areas? nothing has been done. Previously, there was a drought in certain part. Was any money given over there? Even that money has also not been given. Siddaramaiah had promised a lot of money for those people who were killed during the cricket stampede over there. Even that money also has not been paid. All the projects that were starting during our period have been paralyzed. Whatever Nikhil Jain has been saying has been fed to him from somebody from Bangalore, and he's only rattling it out over.
Nikhil?
On ground,
Nikhil?
nothing happening, and no governance is taking place. Tell me one program that you have inaugurated, one building you have inaugurated, one bridge you have inaugurated.
Okay, Nikhil, your response.
You have inaugurated.
Absolutely, my response.
No sense at all.
Sir, can I please now speak?
Go ahead.
Can I please now speak? In 2025, a 19-kilometer yellow line of the Nama Metro was made operational. That I think is in the Congress government's credit. July 2024, the first double-decker rail-cum-road flyover in Bengaluru was inaugurated. It's called the Ragiguda Silk Board Flyover. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the names. Then a 280-kilometer access-controlled expressway passing through 12 towns was partially inaugurated. Bengaluru suburban rail project, which construction for that began in 2024. How many more stats do you need, sir? You can keep on making these blanket statements.
So
Kuch
let's
nahi
talk.
hua, potholes are not filled.
Let's talk about the last 2 weeks then, Nikhil. Let's talk about the last 2 weeks. Because that's when we've been seeing this fight play out. In the last 2 weeks, the question is whether, because of that, the last 2 weeks we've been seeing this tussle and this ego fight. Because of that, governance has taken a hit, not overall.
Actually, I think that is too small a time frame and a window for any government to be
It
opening
surely
up new
matters,
projects.
Nikhil. Every day matters.
It certainly does. No, every day certainly does matter. But if you ask me, has any inauguration happened in the past 2 weeks? I think that is too small a window. Here we have the Prime Minister who promised 2 crore jobs per year 11 years ago, and nobody's asking. Of course, India Today does, but by and large, nobody asks them questions about that. I've told Mr. Rao so many projects that have been inaugurated in the past two and a half years. Okay, I have something from 14 days ago. DK Shivakumar announces major upgrades, infrastructure boost in Bengaluru worth 1 crore. Now he's going to say even that is an empty promise. Now I can't really help it if you're not willing to believe the 2.5 years of social welfare direct benefit transfers that have been made, infrastructure projects that have been opened, infrastructure projects that have started, budget sanctions that have been
Mr.
made.
Bhaskar Rao, the
6.5
charge
lakh
here
crores
is that no
promised in
governance hasn't
MOUs.
taken a hit. You look, for example, you referred to farmers who've been flood hit. There was a special package that was announced a couple of days ago for them as well by the Karnataka government. So is the BJP trying to politicize a non-issue here?
The BJP, when it had raised the farmers issue, initially the government agreed that it is going to pay 3,200 for the sugarcane. Now the sugar minister says not more than 2,900, and the farmers are back on the streets over there. Maize has not been lifted, though government of India announced the MSP for maize. Only at the last moment they come out with a government order, and it takes more than a month and a half for them to set up an infrastructure. What is it that they were doing? Caught napping. And as Nikhil was asking, what is it that has been done? Too short a period over there. There is no preparation. There is no anticipation to solve a problem. All the time, you tell me, Nikhil ji, which minister has visited the district and conducted a review for the development? You give me one example. One KDP meeting that has been held to monitor development and to ensure that money that has been given. You mentioned the number of projects which were inaugurated. Who started this project? Double decker was started by the BJP government. Yellow line was started by the BJP government over there. All these have been started by us over there, which we have brought it to a concluding end, and then you take credit for what we have done over there. In last 2.5 years, have you conceived any project and inaugurated it? Whereas in Government of India, for the whole country itself, projects are conceived, planned, and executed and inaugurated.
Okay, Nikhil, quickly, your response.
Mr. Rao, you can't keep on shifting goalposts. When you ask me for inaugurations, I give you inaugurations. When I was earlier talking about projects that have been sanctioned, you say that we are not planning anything, but sanctioning itself is the planning part of it. When something is partially opening, that is part of the process. You can't keep on shifting goalposts. Are you expecting that in 2.5 years, a new transport infrastructure project would be planned, budget would be sanctioned, it would be started, it would be inaugurated? That doesn't happen. Let's not become unreasonable, Mr. Rao. You're a very senior individual. You're smart. You've been in bureaucracy. You understand the pace of things. I've given you examples of each. I've given significant
one at a
examples
time,
of
please.
each.
One at a
You're not
time.
willing to believe that. And by the way, on the maize procurement as well, the government did announce a recent procurement of several hundred crores. I'll have to check the figures on that.
Okay.
Execution on
Now,
the ground.
we've spoken about governance, about administration. I'll leave it to our viewers to decide which way really this is going, whether governance has taken a hit or not. But let's just focus on the situation right now. Nikhil Jain, when DK Shivakumar is denied a meeting with the High Command, how do we read into that? Is this the High Command saying that, look, we're not willing to take a decision right now? And is that smart, looking at what's happening in Karnataka and that the BJP is just waiting to make the most of it?
Akshita, with all due respect to your sources, all these things that we hear that DK Shivkumar received a certain message from Rahul Gandhi, or he did not get a meeting, or he got a meeting, all these are source-based information, unidentified, unknown source-based information. Nobody really knows what conspires between the two leaders and the High Command. For all we know, they're all hunky-dory, and it is just Mr. Shivkumar, exerting to the High Command that I have certain aspirations, which is perfectly fine in a democracy to have. He has aspirations for
It's
the post of
perfectly
Chief
fine,
Minister. We
Nikhil, I
all know
agree,
that.
but it should also be addressed, which is not happening.
But has
This
it not
is
been
what, the
addressed? You
sixth
see
day
the
we're
two.
talking about what's happening, and there's still nothing from the High Command, zilch.
But that's the point. When the two leaders concerned who are supposedly sparring with each other and supposedly at war with each other, I can see on a screen right now, they're shaking hands. One leader is presenting a shawl to another. They're being happy. They're
And
talking about the
I've
fact
said
that
this
we are
You are
before, they have a
cracking the
brothers.
great
joke.
working relationship. There's no doubt about that. Mr.
That's
Bhaskar
it.
Rao, quickly.
In fact, probably Nikhil Jain is not aware of the ground situation over here. He's speaking somewhere from Delhi based on some press release and statistics over there. The situation on the ground is absolutely different. They've drawn swords at each other and have no idea of what kind of fight that is going on. And as you said, nosy neighbor. We are not nosy neighbors trying to find out whether you're eating idli or whether you're eating chicken over there. The only thing is that people of Karnataka are suffering because you are not governing. And all we are interested is governing,
Well,
not
we've,
eating sambar or idli or chicken, etc.,
as
etc.
a
So
result of all these
stop,
breakfast meets,
stop
we've
all
gotten a sense of what the
business and
Chief
get
Minister
back
and
to
Deputy Chief Minister now like in their breakfast
By the way,
menu.
can I also give another fact check?
Quickly, Nikhil.
He said that no ministers have visited districts. I have Dinesh Gundu Rao, the health minister, who chaired a high-level committee meeting regarding forest disease outbreak
Okay.
affecting districts of Chikmagalur, Shivamoga, and Uttarakhand.
Okay.
Kannada, and the chief minister himself visited the Hassan district. So,
Okay,
sir,
all right,
please.
all right, all right. Nikhil Jain, Bhaskar Rao, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us. I suspect that with the way things are going, we're going to continue being tracking very closely what's happening in Karnataka, because at this point, the High Command seems to be in no tearing hurry. Even as in Bengaluru, you're having these breakfast meets and whatnot. A message of unity, sure. But when both of them are eyeing the same throne, the same chair, how long can this bonhomie, this brotherhood really continue in these circumstances? Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.